Okay, can I get real here? All right, riddle me this. What civil rights organization has apparently successfully transformed itself from the nation's most widely recognized civil rights organization to something that seems like they should be on a reality show on the Cartoon Network?
The NAACP!
Dang. Why is it that the community made jokes about Michael Jackson not being a part of the community when he was alive, bleaching his skin and having white children? But the minute he died and it was revealed that he didn't pay his bills, was a drug user, and had baby mama drama, all of a sudden he was part of the community. And doesn't one of those A's in NAACP stand for the advancement of colored people? Oops, black people? We need to change that name. Malik Nadal Hassan yelling Allah Akbar and not being with terrorism is like Bill Clinton yelling oh God and not being with an intern. How are you supposed to advance black people by putting down black people who actually managed to advance? This has been a good year for the Clintons. By comparison, Nancy Pelosi made Hillary look sweet and Tiger Woods made Bill look like a good catch. I'm just saying. Hello.
Sonja!
Hey Vic, how's it going? Oh, honey, what's wrong? You sound terrible. I'll call you later to see how you're doing, okay? Alrighty. Bye now.
Another Obama voter?
Yeah. Now, where was I? First of all, out of curiosity, show of hands, how many have completely abandoned all journalistic integrity because you're in the tank for Obama? I think there are more. Okay, great. Everybody but two. That's more like it. But let me shut up because I've already been too honest. With my luck, Obama will walk in here right now and hear me talking about how lousy he's been Oh, dang. Obama just walked in here, didn't he? I mean, wouldn't it be so much easier to interview someone if I were a part of the mainstream media? And to be honest, I started to wonder what that would be like. And I'm back with the author of Spoken from the Heart, someone who I'm thrilled to say is our ex-president's wife. Hey, ex in the house. Laura Bush.
Just hosted the U.S.-Afghan Women's Conference at the Bush Institute in Dallas at SMU. Tons of people, many, many women from across the country wanted to be part of it.
Michelle Obama planted a garden. But she wrote this book, and I can't wait to read it. It's you! It's you! It's really, really... It's you! Hey, you're President Obama. Well, if I don't get those toys, who's gonna get everything I busted my hump for?
Labor unions.
I'm sick. Jeez. Yes, the recent exposure that the man-made global warming catastrophe has been a hoax has left many feeling empty and lost.
You became attached. Earth's destruction became your life.
For years, you've been a true believer, yet all you had to do was a little research to discover what a big, steaming pile of hooey it all was. But you didn't. No matter how difficult it is, you must then accept your loss. Because then, and only then, you will certainly take joy in what many of us have been trying to tell you all along. Our planet is divinely created, it's strong and resilient, and can sustain us for a very, very long time. Oh, he's such a cute little... So I guess it shouldn't be a surprise that now we're supposed to believe that racism no longer means this.
Racism, discrimination or prejudice based on race.
And now racism means this.
If you oppose a president and his inept administration who seem intent on ramming through a humongous healthcare bill that eventually gives them control of your personal medical choices. If you oppose a president who seems to feel he's been voted in to reform the Constitution. If you oppose a president who apologizes for America on foreign soil where American soldiers died for their freedom. And who declines to use the word victory while your husbands and children risk their lives at war. Or a president who appears to be weakening American security, and one who seems more protective of those who make demands on America than those who protect us. You're a racist if you want questions answered about a president who has connections with a 40-year-old activist group that has been brought up on criminal charges for voter fraud, and busted for helping a fake pimp and prostitute commit tax fraud to purchase a brothel for underage girls. If you oppose a president who has increased the national debt, making your unborn children indebted to the government. or one who speaks of starting his own well-funded domestic army, or one who has over 30 czars who are not accountable to anyone but him, including one who was a 9/11 truther and an admitted Communist Party member, and another who seeks to dismantle the free press, and another who...
Okay, enough.
But there's a bunch more stuff that defines racism.
I'm sure there is, but I think they get the picture. Ways you can use the Deco race cards is limitless. Pull! And the race card never wears out, even when people can see right through it. In the late 1800s in Washington, D.C., there were 4 public high schools, 3 all white and 1 black. The black one was called the Dunbar School. Like today, many of its students were from broken homes and were on welfare. Unlike today, they were still expected to speak in grammatical English, complete sentences, and the books they used just happened to be above their grade levels. And for over 85 years, the Dunbar School repeatedly equaled or exceeded the national norms and standardized tests. The school was broke, people. Additionally, it averaged about 40 kids to a class, had cracked blackboards, and the lunchroom was so small, lots of the students had to eat out on the streets. Most of its 12,000 graduates went on to higher education. And if that doesn't impress you, how about this? The first blacks to graduate from West Point and Annapolis came from there. The first black full professor at a major university came from there. So did the first black federal judge, general, cabinet member, and the discoverer of a method of storing blood plasma. So what happened to the Dunbar School, you ask? Shortly after 1954, Dunbar abruptly became a typical failing ghetto high school. 85 years of achievement gone, practically overnight, because of the politically correct progressive politics of education.
Hey kids, grab your blankie and binky because now it's time for Tales from the Right Side with Sonja Schmidt.
The president who cried crisis. The house that Americans built. Barack and the Beanstalk. But wait, the story doesn't end there. Now that the giant was awake, he realized he had a big job to do. In order to keep his home and country safe and sound, he can never fall asleep again. But don't worry, he's up to it. After all, he's an American giant. Okay, now you can cheer. Doing street interviews was new for me, and I wasn't sure if I could get people to open up and talk to me. But I knew I'd have no chance if I was recognized for my popular Pjtv shows left exposed. So it was important for me to keep a low profile. Wouldn't you know, right away, I was spotted.
What's up, Pjtv?
Hey, Zoe, how you doing? That's my man. I love Zoe. And Steve, love you too.
I guess they haven't had a chance to watch any of my shows yet. And so, in the end, I hadn't really seen what the mainstream media saw, at least with this pro-Obamacare group, who, in my humble opinion, seemed organized.
What do we want?
And well-funded, yet ill-informed.
I don't understand the finances of it. I don't.
And in many cases, did not behave in a more civil or tolerant manner.
Of course, Republicans can't read.
But as I left, I realized there was one thing I did see. I'm afraid that this group is committed and unmoved, even when faced with facts and consequences of what they were fighting for.
Have you ever seen the government streamline systems?
In other countries, yeah.
In other countries, the income tax rate is 60 or 70%.
But they also get health care.
What do we want? When do we want it?
Therefore, I knew I needed to hatch a heroic plan. Not a rally or a protest. Then suddenly I got it. An entire weekend to counter the California boycott with a boycott. They joined us from all across the country. Places like Nevada, Florida, California, and this guy from
Joel Stein, and I write for Time Magazine.
Initially, I was concerned that his motivation for joining us for the entire weekend was to straight up McChrystal us. You know, set us up by being all nice and buttering us up. Then I figured, what if he slams us in his Time Magazine article? We all know where he works, so we all know where to find him. That's what SB 1070 is about?
It's racist, it's bigot, it's bigotry, and hate. These guys are slow. That's all it is.
What would be a better system?
A system that would treat everybody justly.
Like what?
I think communism is one of those systems. It's definitely a step towards a better future.
Where do they have communism that works really well that you've seen? Wow, that's the way to go.
Well, we haven't had that we haven't been able to reach that yet, but we're always trying to progress towards that.
We're talking to people today about Sarah Palin's book coming out. Do you know anything about her? Anything about her book?
But even though if she having a book coming out, it will be fraud because she was fraud from the beginning.
Amazon and Barnes & Noble, it hasn't even been released yet, so somebody's liking her.
Or maybe people are just curious. Maybe they want to see if she can actually spell.
Personally, I liked her. I really thought she stood for a lot of good qualities. She had a lot of good qualities. Yeah. I'm not a politician. Politics really don't interest me particularly. But you know what? From a guy's point of view, oh, you know, from my point of view anyway, which may not matter much, I think she was treated like pretty trashy, really. Yeah.
I love Obama. He's a nice guy. I think he's in La La Land.
Did you do much research on him before you voted?
To be honest, no.
That's logical. Given that Obama is nearing his first year as the President of the United States, I was then curious to find out what people thought was his biggest accomplishment so far.
Winning the election. I agree with that.
Getting elected.
His biggest accomplishment so far?
Other than being the first minority president.
Why would you have voted for him?
He's like very charismatic person, and maybe also because he's black.
If you go into like African American communities, I can bet you 8 out of 10 people is like, I voted for Obama because he's black. I just want to see if we could do it.
That's not a good enough reason to vote for a president?
No, not at all. They're doing that with sodas. They're taxing sodas that's not diet or stuff that's not healthy. If that's the case, we might as well just become a communism because that's what it's looking like right now.
Do this in Argentina. I feel I'm in Argentina again. You know, like you are doing well and then everything, you begin to go down, and make less and less and no work.
And I found myself more and more wondering if we can actually stop the momentum.
And it's about studying history. Right. It's about studying history. Yeah, look, if you go there, this is what's going to happen to you. People do not want to understand. They want to be in denial.
What do we do?
This is the same way that how would you raise your kids? Your kids are going to do what they want and they need to fall to learn. They need to experience because, you know, in America, you guys went through a great life. So you don't understand what it is to go downhill and never come back. So when we go there, then they will learn.
And until then?
We're all going to pay the price for this.